Nice moon. That's bright enough.
Screams inauthentic. It screams elitist. And it's unfortunate. You're not Wendy's, okay? You're Gavin Newsom. You're the governor of the state. You can have fun on social media. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you start throwing around jabs and you start really just picking fights, it just becomes lame.
Well, and Rick, here's what I want to know, because I'm starting to see a pattern, but whether it's his hired social media team or Gavin Newsom himself, he keeps going after you. Why are you such a threat to Gavin Newsom?
Well, look, I think we're holding him to account in some ways, between the water problems, I should say water management problems, because we live on the ocean. We don't have a water problem. We have a water management problem. We don't have a forest and fire problem in California. We have a forest and fire management problem. And we're calling them out. And President Trump has me as the point person really holding back some of these funds that California is thinking that they're just going to automatically get. And what we're saying is we're not going to give these funds over to California so that they make the same mistakes and we have another fire because we don't have the reservoirs filled. We don't know how to do water management. We still haven't fixed the problems of forest fires and forest management. How do you do that? Just through common sense. Gavin Newsom is out running for president. He still hasn't fixed these. And so our concern, President Trump's concern, is if we somehow just allow this money to be handed over to California, they make the same mistakes and we're going to have another fire. Look, last night I had an event for my organization, Fix California. We had 150 people gathered in Manhattan Beach and they are outraged. I would say 50 to 60 of the people that showed up lost their homes in the Palisades. They now live in Manhattan Beach, where I live, and they're outraged. Many of these are Democrats. I talked to a woman last night from the Palisades who is a Democrat who will never vote, at least for the next couple of years, for a Democrat. She's so outraged that the basic utilities, we have the highest taxes, property taxes in the nation, and these individuals saw a fire coming over the hill. They went to turn on the water. They had no water pressure. They had no water. These are just basic services. Karen Bass is a disaster, but you know what? Karen Bass thinks that she's going to win. She's running again. And I opened up the speech last night and I said, look, we're all outraged at Karen Bass. We think there's no possible way she's going to win. She's running and her people are telling her she's going to win. Now, that's pathetic. I want to meet the people who are going to vote for Karen Bass, because between Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom, the people of California, common sense voters, see this as so lame. They are not going to go for this again. We've got a big moment in California, and I think that's why Gavin Newsom is afraid.
I'm very curious about that, Rick, because I know that a lot of people here are probably like, why are you spending so much time on local news here in California, in West Virginia? We're here in Tennessee. We're seeing a mass migration, obviously, from California to Tennessee. Most of my friends from LA are now here because of reasons like that. And these aren't necessarily most conservative people. These are people in the arts who just decided they couldn't take it anymore. And I think we have to always look to these big states to see how things are going. I mean, with Karen Bass in that situation, I feel like you had the media. She had the media so under control that if you wanted to vote for anyone else, even a moderate Democrat, you were ostracized. You were all of a sudden the enemy if you just said, I don't know, I want to vote for this other more moderate Democrat. Sorry, you're no longer welcome in California.
Los Angeles Times is the newsletter for the Democratic Party. It's a simple little newsletter. It's not interesting anymore. You don't even need to read it because you know exactly what they're going to say. They're going to say the Republican is bad, the Democrat is good. It's tanking. They're literally firing people left and right, laying people off. And so that's the largest newspaper in the state. And the media are, they're not even jumping on the fact that the governor of the state is mocking janitors. The media are largely silent in California. Now, if I mocked janitors, they would be mocking me for 3 straight days, and I would have an editorial in the Los Angeles Times. And so it's just a double standard. Everybody knows it. We don't care anymore about the Los Angeles Times. They're totally irrelevant, but Gavin Newsom does, and he's feeling the heat from the pressure and the fact that Californians are sick and tired of bad politicians ruining our state, and we're gonna do something about it. So we're organized.
We're very thankful you're there, Rick. A state that, again, I don't write anyone off. I don't write any states off, any areas off, whether it's New York, California. These places are some of our shining cities. These should be the ones that everyone goes to, the tourist capitals where people think of America. They think of these places, and we got to make sure that they are being properly managed and handled. You want people living there. You want people to become as tourists, and they should think about that for a worldwide economy.